Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Fitness with Dan. Me. So today we're going to be starting a brand new series called... Give me a second here. Pandemic Calisthenics! Alright guys, so with gyms being closed, this series is going to show you how to do different workouts without the need for a gym. At home, out at the park, wherever you might be, that would work for you to do these exercises. This first episode is going to focus on back, and we're only going to talk about one exercise for back today. Now, a lot of people can't perform this exercise at all, so before I tell you what it is and you go click off the video, I'm going to show you ways to get better at this exercise and perform this exercise even if you can't do one rep today. By the end of this, if you follow what I tell you, you should be able to do several reps, and as time goes on, do more and more reps of this exercise. That exercise is the pull-up. Okay, so the equipment needed for a pull-up, if you have equipment, would be potentially one of these. I got this for about $84 at Dick's. Other options are those door frame models that you stick up in the door frame and you can do pull-ups off of. But if you've ever seen those videos online... you can see you could potentially injure yourself doing those. So maybe not the best option. For a few more bucks, you can get one of these. If you don't have access to any of that, you don't have the room, or you just don't want to purchase something, you can go outside and use the tree limb. You can go to the park and pull up on monkey bars or something like that. There's a lot of different options that you could use in place of something like this. All right, so first we'll start with some terminology. A lot of people use pull-ups and chin-ups synonymously, but they're actually two different exercises. Pull-ups are going to be with your hands on an overhand grip, grabbing something, or pronated. For a chin-up, you're going to use a supinated grip or underhand to pull up on the bar. The difference is you're going to have more bicep activity when you do a supinated grip versus a pronated grip. But both exercises, both chin-ups and pull-ups, are primarily a back exercise. Some people think they're bicep exercises. Biceps are a secondary muscle involved here. Pull-ups are primarily for your back. Before you start doing pull-ups, you need to be able to get in a proper position. So with pull-ups, you want to retract your scapula. So what that means is, if you've ever heard somebody say, stand up straight, put your shoulders back, that's essentially what retracting your scapula is. What you want to do is stand up straight, put your shoulders back, and then press your shoulders down. So you're going to go back and down, basically. That's a retracted scapula, and that's the position you kind of want to hold when you're doing pull-ups. That's going to help keep your lats engaged. Your lats are a muscle that runs from basically behind your back of your arm here, down your back, and then connects into your torso. So that's what you're working, is basically this muscle here when you're doing pull-ups. And retracting your scapula is going to help engage your lats correctly and make it so that you can do the exercise correctly. People that try to just pull up with their arms or twist their body and stuff, you're not actually putting tension on the lats and you're not really working the lats. Your bicep muscles are very small muscles. They're not built to pull 200 pounds if you weigh 200 pounds, for example. You're not going to walk in the gym and see many guys doing 200-pound barbell curls. Your back is strong enough. It's a much larger muscle to be able to handle that amount of weight. Your biceps are not. It's a common misconception, so just wanted to get that out of the way. All right, so next we're going to do a warm-up, and the way we're going to do the warm-up is something called a dead hang. So this is going to stretch out the lats and kind of just get the muscle warmed up. The other good thing about these is if you can't do a pull-up right now, this will help you build sort of grip strength and just overall get more familiarity of keeping your scapula retracted while you're hanging. And obviously if you're going to do reps of 5, 10, 15 eventually of pull-ups, you're going to need to be able to hang onto the bar for anywhere from 30 to 45 seconds. So if you can't hang onto the bar that long, hang on as long as you can, and each week, maybe do these twice a week, and each week try to increase your hang time by 5 seconds. So what you do is just grab the bar with a pronated grip, so overhand grip, and then you're just going to pull your scapula back and then just hang. Don't do this. Pull the scapula back and then hang like that. And that's going to stretch out your lat muscle here, and you should feel it a little bit doing just that. Before we get any further into this, as I said at the beginning of the video, since a lot of people can't even do one pull-up, I'm going to show you variations that'll help you get to the point where you can do a real full pull-up. But in case you're someone who can't do one currently, maybe you have a very high body weight, and the higher your body weight, obviously you're moving your body weight on this exercise, the harder it's going to be. So to account for that, I'm going to show you some ways to do it, even if you do have a higher body weight, where you can kind of do variations that are going to help you get stronger, and eventually you should be able to do a full pull-up. And then eventually you should be able to do multiple pull-ups. But let's start with one of those. Hey guys, so the first thing I'm going to show you is basically a seated pull-up. Obviously I have a home gym, but you don't need a home gym. You just need something that you can basically put your hands around, or even the end of a table might work. But if you have something you can wrap your hands around, that's going to give you a better grip, and that's going to be a preferred option. So the idea behind this is you're not lifting your full body weight. Obviously I'm sitting on the ground, I can't lift my full body weight. So if you have trouble doing full pull-ups, this is an option to kind of help build strength and get you to the point where you can do a full one. So we'll say this is step one, or option one. So you'd again retract your scapula and then just pull yourself up and then back down. You really want to go down slow on the negative. You're going to be a lot stronger on the negative than you are the positive. Like any exercise, that's just how it is. So if you can control your way down on the negative, that's going to help build strength and ultimately make you better at performing pull-ups as well. The other thing is, when you're doing this, you kind of want to focus on driving your elbows down. If you think of it like that, you want to push your elbows down to your sides, basically. So instead of, that's probably the best option as far as a way to think about how you're doing this motion. So just kind of drive your elbows down and then back. As far as, and this is something with the name chin-up specifically, where you're trying to get your chin above the bar, I always go with the brim of a hat is my guide. So I would go up to basically the brim of a hat and then go back down like that. The nice thing about this is you can also perform this in the chin-up position. Same thing, drive your elbows down, come down slow. And you should feel it in both lat muscles as you're doing this. Again, because you're not using as much body weight, it's going to be a bit easier than performing a full pull-up. And in general, chin-ups are also going to be easier. So if you have trouble doing pronated, if you do supinated, that's another good way to strengthen your back muscles and kind of get used to the overall motion of a pull-up. Because you have more bicep interaction with that, again, as a secondary muscle, you are still pulling with your lats, but it'll make it a little bit easier for you to perform this. So now we'll move on to... Okay, so for version 2, we're going to increase the amount of body weight that you're actually moving. You're still going to be in this type of situation, except you're going to have a chair now. What you're going to do is you're going to put your feet on the chair, but your ass is still on the ground. So as you pull up, you're moving more of your body weight, but not all of your body weight because your feet are down on the chair. And again, you can do this as a pull-up or a chin-up. I went a little high on that one, but that's okay. Then one final point I want to make on this is, you notice how I'm seated and going straight up and down, more or less. This is not the same as this. That is basically an inverted row. Still works the back muscles, it's just not the same movement as a pull-up. So while you can do those to strengthen your back, and that's another good option as a back exercise, it's not necessarily going to apply directly to your improvement to pull-ups, other than it does strengthen your back, but you're not really training the motion. And pull-ups is really an exercise where you want to get used to training that motion. So that's why these seated variations are good. Okay, so version 4 of how you can sort of improve pull-ups without actually doing a full pull-up is you can use a band. Now these bands are way too small, these are my wife's bands, but if you had a longer band, what you would do is attach it to the top, and then you'd step into it, and that would let you do pull-ups with some basically added support. So you wouldn't be using your entire weight, the band would take some of your weight away. So for example, if you weigh 200 pounds and the band has a 60-pound resistance, you're actually only going to be pulling 140 pounds, which would be a lot easier than necessarily pulling, obviously, 200 pounds. Again, pull-ups are entirely based on weight. If you wanted to, say, add weight because you've gotten that strong and to that level where you can do multiple pull-ups, you can get a belt with a chain and hang weights off yourself and, add 20 pounds, and then you're pulling 220 instead of 200. Another option would be this up here, which is a lat pull-down machine. Ours is broken currently, and again, this is more of a gym-related thing, so I didn't want to necessarily include this, but that is a machine replication of a pull-up, so also a good way to sort of build lat strength, so you can do regular pull-ups. Although again, I think pull-ups themselves are a better exercise, and I don't think that doing these gives you the same benefit as training the movement like you saw with the seated pull-ups. Okay, so that's basically all the variations. There is one extra variation, but let me show you what it would look like if you were to actually do these now. So obviously you have a wider range of grip lengths that you can use. I would suggest most people do basically a little bit wider than shoulder width. The more narrow you get, the more forearm and bicep interaction you're going to have. So it's going to take a little bit of tension off the lats. You really want to make sure you apply as much tension and keep as much tension on the lat muscles as possible. I use a little bit wider grip out to here. And again, you're basically going to retract the scapula and then pull down the elbows. And then back down and back down. And again, make sure that you're controlling the negative on these. And that's essentially what you're going to be doing. You might see some gyms or setups that have a neutral grip, which would basically be, if you can imagine these two bars sticking out straight, or up here, and maybe I can show you that, you would do this sort of pull-up. I can't do it because it's too low, but you do a pull-up in a neutral grip. That's going to be similar to a chin-up. You're going to find this way easier as well. Again, if you're trying to find a difficulty rating, I would say chin-up being the easiest, neutral grip being the second easiest, and then a standard pull-up's definitely going to be your hardest exercise variation on the pull-up, chin-up spectrum. The last thing, and this is the bonus I wanted to show you, say you get to the point where you can do 1 or 2 pull-ups, you're not too good at them yet, what you can do is essentially a forced negative. So what you're going to do is, and like I said earlier, you're going to be a lot stronger on the negative motion of any exercise. So what you would do is you would go up and basically kind of get yourself up to brim of the hat sort of area, and then slowly come down. And go back up, and slowly come down. So what you're doing there is you're still keeping tension on the lats, but you're only doing the negative. You're a lot stronger in the negative, so that's going to help build your lat muscles and make overall pull-ups easier to do. I would suggest doing those at the end of your pull-ups, so if you do maybe 3 reps and that's all you can get, do another 3 after that of just negatives like I just did. That's going to help sort of overload the lats and force a little bit more growth and strength from your body. That's how I basically got up to where I can do 15 or so pull-ups. I started out being able to do 2 or 3. So that's something that worked for me, so you can try to incorporate that as well. Yeah, that's about it. So anyway, hit the subscribe button. It's down here somewhere. Like the video, and if you subscribe, you'll be notified the next time I update another video. Thanks for tuning in, guys.